on Sky Sports, the main event. Let's look more closely at the European super middleweight champion, James Cook. He had a long career at middleweight with mixed results. There seemed no great future as a championship contender until he stepped up to super middleweight. First he captured the British crown, beating Sam Story in Belfast. Then he became European champion, beating Pierre-Franck Winterstein in Paris. And now he's thinking about winning world titles.
A seasoned pro at 32, but James Cook believes he's only now embarking on the most successful phase of his career. The ability's always been there. Now, allied to dedication and experience, Cook looks like a man who can win and hold big titles.
This sixth round may just go down as the start of the end for him, or will Kayla prove us all wrong? Cook really has put together some very, very good work, like that. And then a right. Kayla is covering up, and the towel has been put in. They've thrown in the towel. Mickey Van is trying to pull Kayla off the corner and thrown in the towel. You're not officially allowed to do that. The referee should stop the fight. Does Kayla want to be stopped? We have some controversy here, but Jimmy Tibbs threw in the towel. That was surrender. What it means is that James Cook is still the European super middleweight champion.
And after this fight, then I should be ready for a world title. I mean, Uusivirta is the man, he's there now, and he's the man everybody is running from. But I'm not running from nobody now, so beating Uusivirta, then I'm ready for a world title.
Knowledge isn't easily won in this game. Cook has been a pro all of 9 years. He's learnt plenty, not only in ring and gym. He set about shaping his own career. He wanted what looks a risky European title defence. He wanted a manager with influence in the corridors of power in world boxing. Enter Mickey Duff, exit Harry Holland.
We had this difference of opinion with regards to this European title fight, which I'm strongly against. And it couldn't be resolved. There was becoming a bigger problem. I think there was a call made to Mickey Duff. Mickey Duff then informed me that there'd been a call made. I then spoke to Mickey, and we agreed a situation that we thought that was best part under these circumstances.
I see James Cook as a possible winner of a world title. And I've been directly responsible for 21 world champions, and I think he could quite conceivably make 22, or 23 if I have one before him.
It's all there waiting for James Cook. A solid defence of the European title should earn the opportunity he's always wanted to try a world championship belt for size.
And now to the challenger, Tarmo Uusivirta. He looked good early on. He spent time in the States under Angelo Dundee, but Dundee complained about a lack of punching power. Uusivirta discovered he had a serious back injury. His career fell apart. He split from his girlfriend, took to drinking too much, and even fell into debt. From there, though, he's fought back.
It's hardly been smooth progress for Tarmo Uusivirta, but it always seemed there was a good performer struggling to get out. Now 34, lifted from semi-retirement by a journalist friend who saw talent going to waste and became his manager. He quickly learned how to build up his man.
Who has James Cook fought? Mark Kayla, Pierre-Franck Winterstein. I don't think James Cook's opposition has been better than Tarmo's, and Tarmo is a better boxer. He's a bigger puncher than James Cook, and at this stage of his career, he's so strong mentally and physically that I think Mr. Cook will have to be in his absolute best to deal with Tarmo.
Beset by injuries and personal problems, Uusivirta had nearly 2 years off before clawing his way back. At home in Helsinki, moderate opposition or not, he's been knocking them over. But the early record also stands examination. You'll find a points victory over one James Cook back in '87.
He's much tougher now, I know that. But so am I, much tougher, and I trust myself, and I'm not scared about that fight. I'm gonna win.
Self-belief is the key component for the Finn. If the mind is right and the body can stand the pressure of a step up to championship class, James Cook might find himself in a very, very difficult fight.
Definitely it's his last chance. He will be 35 years next February, and we know that now that we finally have a chance to go for big time, we're not going to blow it.
Well, Gary, I don't think those credentials look too bad at all from the Finn, and I think James Cook's got a difficult job on. What do you think?
Well, Cook struggled to get where he is today, and to get to this stage and want to take the risk that he's taking now is very dangerous. And sometimes a manager is a better judge than a fighter will be about who he should fight. And who's to say Cook has made a mistake? But we hope he hasn't, and we hope his judgment's right, and his desire for revenge is not like made him make a misjudgment of things.
All right. Well, the moment of truth, as they say, is imminent upon us. First of all, we're in the area with the Finnish dressing room and Uusivirta on his way out, and I think it's high time we join our commentator, Ian Dark.
Thank you, Paul. So Greg Steen there, who used to be connected with Dennis Andries, but now with the Uusivirta camp, as the Finnish flag there is flown. Finland, well, they're pretty famous for javelin throwers, but I can't remember very many boxers in the past. But this fellow Uusivirta is one of the very best they've had. This is no cheap import. This is no man who's come here for a holiday and is going to look for a convenient piece of canvas to lie down on. He means business, Uusivirta, and this is a real, live, competitive defence for James Cook. Arno Luoma, the trainer there, and hidden under that black hood, looking rather menacing, somewhere is Tarmo Uusivirta, who at 34, if he loses this one, Glenn, will have run out of chances.
That's right. I think at that age he's got nowhere to go. It's his last big chance, and you know, he's going to give it his best shot. Obviously, he's came here to try and win. I think looking at Cook, he's in superb condition. He always is. He's a good pro, and he's done very well. He's turned his career around, and it looks to be a very good fight. You've got two guys who are late on in the career, and they're both probably a last chance. Where do any of them go if they lose? So I think that it's going to be a fabulous fight.
It's quite a story. He quit the ring in December 1998 with a pinched nerve in the neck, causing a loss of feeling and power in his left arm. He was out for 20 months. There was alcohol abuse, smoking, a split with his girlfriend. As Paul was telling you earlier, he even contemplated suicide, so it's reported. He sold his flat to pay the bills, but he's come back with 6 wins, so he's known the hard times, and that can sometimes sharpen a fighter's hunger.
It can make a fighter, want it more, but it's, if it's been that bad and he's had that much alcohol abuse, it's how much does that take out of your body at that age? That's a big question.
So now we await the entry of the revitalized James Cook. And I was saying that Uusivirta's is quite a story, but so too is Cook, really. And if you told anybody on the inside in British boxing about 3 years ago, when he was beaten quite easily in 5 rounds by Harold Graham, that James Cook would be knocking on the door of the world title in 3 years' time, they'd have said you were quite mad, but it's happened.
For what he's done, he deserves all the success he's had and much, much more. He's turned his career around. At one point, he was just, people regard him as a trial horse. He's done more than that. He's come on to win the British and the European titles. And that's a remarkable feat. Now he's poised for a world title fight, and I think he's too confident to let that slip.
He's getting a tremendous reception here, Cook, as he climbs into the ring. The 32-year-old from Peckham, just a journeyman fighter, really, in the early days. But he's kind of proved that boxing life sometimes can begin at 30, as Dennis Andries proved before him.
Standing for the national anthem.
sweat. He's obviously been working very, very hard in the dressing room before coming to the ring. Let's get the official introduction, shall we, right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main event of the evening. Anglo-Swedish Promotions, in conjunction with Sky Sports Television and the Daily Mirror newspaper, are proud to present 12 3-minute rounds of boxing for the Super Middleweight Championship of Europe and an eliminator for the world title. Firstly, may I introduce to you the challenger from Helsinki, Sweden, Tarmo Uusivirta. And the champion from Peckham in southeast London, James Cook.
Well, Cook has never been this popular in his whole career.
From this afternoon, Cook scaled 11 stone and 12 pounds. Uusivirta scaled 11 stone, 12 and 3/4 pounds. Our steward in charge is Lord Brooks. The supervisor for the EBU is Mr. Robert Descain of Belgium. We have two judges, Mr. Knut Jensen from Denmark, and Heinrich Meermark from Germany. And our referee is Mr. Armand Krief of France. Gentlemen, this is 6 3-minute rounds of boxing. Our timekeeper is... Sorry, I beg your pardon. 12 3-minute rounds of boxing, and our timekeeper is Mr. Tommy Rice. Mr. Krief.
So final instructions for the two boxers, for the French referee Armand Krief. Goodness knows what language he's going to talk to them in, but he's using kind of sign language there for Uusivirta. They both know the business. The instructions can be kept to a minimum. So James Cook makes the second defence of his European super middleweight title and tries to avenge the defeat he suffered at the hands of Uusivirta almost 4 years ago to the day. That was on points over 10 rounds, but Cook is a much improved fighter since then. He really did a number on Mark Kaler in his last defence back in June. Also covered live on Sky Sports. Uusivirta in those gaudy shorts of his, which I'm told are specially imported from Saudi Arabia. Two good hooks there from Cook right at the start. Nice and confident.
Cook's looking well. He threw a couple of nice sharp jabs and then doubled up on that left hook. That's confident stuff, and it looked very good. He looks nice and sharp.
Cook has engineered an opportunity for himself in his career, and he doesn't really want to let it go. He's really found the range straight away, and there's a lot of snap about his work. Good work from Cook early on. 3 or 4 punches raining in there on Uusivirta, who must be thinking to himself already, hey, this isn't the fellow I met 4 years back.
That's right. He's already shown a good range of moves. He's thrown right uppercuts, straight off the jab, straight jab, double left hooks. He looks nice and confident, nice and keyed up.
Cook, who won this title by getting off the floor to beat the French gypsy Pierre-Frank Winterstein away from home. That was an excellent win. And he's been a reborn fighter. That's a good right from Cook. All Cook so far in the opening round, and a great uppercut, which is his trademark punch.
Yes, a very good uppercut. He just missed, and a good right hand before that. He's doing well. He's doing nice and confident without being, too over the top. He's a nice, steady opening. I thought at one point, I worried whether, having lost the first fight, he might come a bit wild, wanting to prove something. But he's doing a nice professional job.
Well, James Cook now under the management of Mickey Duff, an amicable split. He was caught by a right there, was Cook. That was his first test. And he took it well, that punch, but it showed the danger of Uusivirta, who is a useful puncher. You mustn't get careless against him. Uusivirta, an ex-fireman.
It was a good right hand from Uusivirta, and it came from nothing. It just came out of nowhere.
Uusivirta's had 6 wins on his comeback trail, but mostly against very low-grade opponents, it has to be said. The one exception being Troy Watson, who he beat on points. Here goes the bell to end the first round, and it was a very good first round for James Cook. Not so good for this fellow, Tarmo Uusivirta. Join us again in just a moment. Welcome back live to the Latchmere Leisure Centre in Battersea. European Super Middleweight Championship action with James Cook from Peckham in southeast London, defending his title for the second time against the Finnish boxer here, Tarmo Uusivirta. Uusivirta in the gaudy trunks and with the blonde hair. Cook snapping out his jab. Cook is particularly effective, by the way, when he gets in close. He has a whole array of punches that he unleashes. Good jab again, and the right uppercut, and the hand speed was blurring at that shot.
He is looking fast and very, very sharp. It looks like he's trained very well for this fight. His repertoire of punches is very good. He threw hooks to the body from both sides there and over the top.
Always the sign of a class act, that in boxing, the repertoire and the hand speed. I think very predictable about Cook. Caught with that right there. Cook, should remind you, has been down in his career 9 times, but mostly in that rather dodgy earlier period of the career. He's won his last 5 inside the distance, James Cook, since losing to Harold Graham in a British middleweight title challenge. He's beaten Errol Christie, he's beaten Brian Schumacher, Sam Story, then Winterstein and Mark Kaler.
Uusivirta has quite an awkward style, and I think Cook might find that hard to get into. He's doing well inside, but just at mid-range, that's where he gets caught with that right hand. And Uusivirta's quite awkward. He's a little bit gangly, a little bit all over.
Nice little right cross in there from Uusivirta. And sometimes with these fights, we saw Cook start very fast, but sometimes people can pace fights and still come out on top. And if you want a recent example, how about Jeff Harding against Dennis Andries? Andries was all over him at the beginning. Harding came back to steal the verdict. So there's plenty left in the plot, you suspect, of this one.
Cook has it nicely in control, just gets caught every now and again with that straight right hand to Uusivirta, and that's the one he's got to be careful of. He just seems to hang around a little bit too long. He throws some good jabs, some good combinations, then just seems to hang about doing nothing. That's better. Good right hand there. He's got to keep the pressure on, nice and steady.
Cook started as if he wanted to get the job done very quickly and get Uusivirta out of there, but you wonder whether, with this rough, tough, pretty durable man from Finland, whether over the period of a few rounds he might start to settle for just doing the job on points. Too early to talk like that yet. We're very early in the story. Last few seconds then of the second round. It's been a bit more even, this one. Welcome back to the Latchmere Leisure Centre. This is James Cook, Danny Mancini there doing some work in the corner. This is a check on his record. Doesn't look so great, does it, with those 8 defeats, but he has won his last 5. At one stage, he lost 5 out of 7 between 1984 and 87, and really did look to be going nowhere. Not any longer, though. Third round. Uusivirta does look strong, though, doesn't he, Glenn McCrory?
He does. He's very strong and quite awkward. I think Cook's got to be careful of the head, because he lunges in with his head down. He's also got to be careful of that right hand, which he shoots across. And he just did there. But he looks strong and awkward. But Cook's doing a good job. He's just got to, keep the same work going, through the rounds. He's very professional. If he keeps it going, he'll weaken him and he'll hurt him.
He's having to fight this so far at longer range than he did against Kaler. He's having to work behind his jab and throw those kind of looping right hands like that from far out. And that was only a slip. Referee rightly rules it as such. No count, no knockdown.
It showed a little bit of Uusivirta's strength there because he pushed him over there. He just seemed to get his shoulder behind him and give him a push.
Good right from Uusivirta and a left hook as well. Uusivirta is awkward, he's rough, and he's very strong. And I think you saw in that little preview that we showed you beforehand that he is exceptionally determined, as are his whole camp. And again there, his muscles Cook up against the ropes there, wants to unload on him. Cook looks for the counter punch and is made to miss 4 or 5 times. Maybe just a little bit of the sharpness of Cook's earlier work just draining away a little in this 3rd round.
I think it's a bit more, he's getting pushed out of his stride. You know, he's getting bowled about, pushed on the floor. You know, Uusivirta is very, very strong, and he's very awkward. He's pushing him about, and he's giving him a little bit of a hard time. A good right hand from Cook there. They both landed right hands at the same time.
Well, was that a knockdown? Because he went down onto one knee there, Uusivirta, and I think it was as a result of the punch. It was only a flash knockdown. But the referee doesn't count it. Uusivirta, though, now has Cook on the ropes, landing with a couple of good head punches, and Cook having to trade and looking just a little unsteady on the legs as he came out of this corner. This is really getting a rough old ball now.
He's looking a little bit unstable on his legs. I think he's took a couple of good shots himself. Uusivirta is very, very strong.
He's beginning to rough Cook up a little bit, and Cook is certainly not having things all his own way here. Now back he comes with some short little punches inside. Good right again from Uusivirta. Be interesting to look back at the replay at the end of the round to see whether that was a knockdown, whether Uusivirta did actually touch base, as it were. Good right on the counter from Uusivirta, then the left hook from him again, and a little half smile on his face as the bell goes to end what was a fascinating round. This fellow from Finland looks like a tough proposition for James Cook. Uusivirta is 34 now, time is running out. 23 wins, 16 by knockout, testimony to his punch power. 3 defeats and 3 draws, and 2 of those draws were against that very useful Dutch boxer Alex Blanchard. Drew with him home and away. Now let's have a look again at this again, Glenn. Is this a knockdown?
It did seem to be. They both seemed to land at the same time. Oh, that was definitely a push off Uusivirta.
Now that was the earlier bit of action when Cook, I think, just fell down. Lost. Now there it is. Is a right hand goes in there from Cook, and you see Uusivirta, his knees touch the canvas, and it's not counted as a knockdown. I think the referee missed that.
I think he might have. They both landed at the same time. But that was a very rough and tough round there, and I think Uusivirta had the best of it at the end. Cook needs to do what he's doing now. He needs to get that jab going. Sit behind the jab for a little while. Don't get pulled about and pushed about.
Good jabs from Cook. Work behind that jab, and there are shouts from the ringside of box him, James. Box him, James. Don't get into a brawl. Again, it's counted as a slip as Uusivirta muscles Cook to the floor. Nice right again from Uusivirta. That's a great right uppercut, though, inside from Cook. That was good work from him. But this is already a grueling contest, Glenn.
It is very grueling. It's warmed up these last 2 rounds, and a lot of pushing, a lot of strong work in there, and a lot of hard punches has been thrown. It's going to be a grueling contest.
Uusivirta will have seen videos of Cook in action and known about that right uppercut, but it hasn't stopped him landing it. He's landed it a couple of times in this round. Uusivirta really does look very, very strong indeed. Short little right into the side of the head this time from Cook. Cook, who looks better when he's boxing behind the jab, when he starts to brawl with Uusivirta. Oh, that's a great right uppercut though from Cook. And again, Uusivirta's in trouble. He's hit with another one. That was a tremendous punch from the European champion, James Cook. And Uusivirta did well to stay on his feet from that. Back he comes, and now Cook's suddenly starting to look a little bit more ragged.
That was very strange. 3 beautiful uppercuts from Cook, and then all of a sudden a couple of shots from Uusivirta, and Cook's looking a little bit as if he's stagnant and if he's hurt. Uusivirta obviously hits pretty hard, because at times when he's landed, Cook does seem, the strength seems to go out of his legs.
He's definitely shaking Cook up a little bit when he's landing cleanly.
He is. The shots don't look that spectacular. They're short, but obviously there's a lot of weight behind them.
But that really was a peach of a right uppercut from Cook, and it might discourage him to think he landed a punch like that, and Uusivirta's come back still strong.
Cook needs to get the jab going. He needs to get him on the end of the jab. When he's got that little bit of range, he throws some nice shots. He gets his uppercuts working, his long left jab, his long right hand. But he keeps getting drawn into a fight a little bit because he's very awkward, Uusivirta. But it's certainly a very tough fight.
Final seconds then of the 4th round. We thought this would be a good fight. It is. Welcome back. This right uppercut from James Cook. What a punch, and Uusivirta took it. Back live, 5th round at the Latchmere Leisure Centre. And a good fight for the European super middleweight title. James Cook up against a very tough man indeed in Tarmo Uusivirta, the 34-year-old Finn. And he's hurt Cook once or twice already and had him looking a bit shaky. But the same's true the other way around as well.
Uusivirta still looking a bit sprightly and very strong, where Cook at the end of that round seemed to be tiring a little bit. It's obviously, it's going to be taken on. He's been caught some good shots and he's getting pushed and pulled about a lot.
Warning for Uusivirta there about low blows from the French referee Armand Cleef. Good right, Uusivirta. Cook trapped on the ropes. And when it gets into that close quarter mauling, Uusivirta looks more effective. When Cook is boxing behind the jab, he seems to be in control of things. And there, Uusivirta walked onto a right, another one from Cook. And then a left hook, and Uusivirta smiles as if to say it didn't hurt. Probably means it did.
Usually when fighters smile, it means, I've copped that. I'll smile back at you because it's hurting a little bit. Well, Uusivirta's a cagey fighter. When Cook hits him with a good shot, he comes back with some goodness of his own.
Super punch, that right uppercut of James Cook. It really is. You don't see very many boxers who throw that punch so superbly as Cook does. Now, Cook now starting to have more success. Little volley of headshots. Bit less coming back from Uusivirta in this round so far. So is Cook just starting to wear him down? Just a question.
Uusivirta's style's giving Cook a few problems because he throws a jab and then he lunges right in.
Cook gets a little warning there for wrestling and holding in close. Uusivirta there was lucky really that he didn't walk into that right flush. It just sort of landed around grazing the side of his head. Second time, says the referee, I've warned you about low blows. They touch gloves. Good sporting spirit. That's great to see. Oh, good jab again. This is Cook's round. And Uusivirta's starting to look a bit ragged, Glenn.
He is. Cook's starting to put some good shots together. He threw a nice jab, nice right uppercut. That uppercut, as you said, is exceptional. He's used that in many fights and it works to perfection now.
Uusivirta and Cook will be encouraged by this. He's starting to breathe more heavily. Cook on top. Welcome back. There's the corner of James Cook. Mickey Duff is in there for the first time. Denny Mancini there giving some instructions too. And in the other corner, Paddy Byrne working in the Uusivirta corner. Kind of on loan to them tonight. Sixth round. And on my scorecard, I have Cook handily ahead, though this has been far from easy. Cook against the blonde-haired Finn, Tarmo Uusivirta.
I've got it the same way. I see Cook winning, but he's having to fight for it the whole way. Nothing's easy.
Starting to let go and starting to unload a little bit, Cook. Upping the gear, and he gets that right uppercut in again, and Uusivirta's breathing a little bit more heavily. And Uusivirta here needs to come back and needs to reassert himself at this stage, get a foothold back in the fight. A couple of rounds ago, he was looking strong and quite dangerous. He catches Cook with that right, but somehow there didn't seem quite so much in that punch as there was a couple of rounds back.
It just seemed a little flick that time before he was really letting it go. I think obviously it's got to be taking effect on Uusivirta. Cook's hit him with a lot of good punches, but he's still in. He's very, very awkward. He's making it very difficult for Cook.
What a tribute to the conditioning, too, of both of them. They're both the wrong side of 30, of course, and they've prepared fantastically for this. That looked a bit low from Cook. Got away with it. Could have been an optical illusion. Cook imposing his will to win on Uusivirta just at the moment. But the Finn, he's had a bad 4 or 5 minutes in the fight, but he may just be taking a little breather and he may come back strong again. He may get a second wind. You get the feeling that this is far from over yet.
That's right, Cook's not doing very much, but the man just got caught with 2 good shots. Uusivirta just, he goes quiet for a little bit and you think he's just taking a breath and then he explodes as he did there with a couple of shots. Another beautiful uppercut from Cook.
That was a slip that time. He got up and walked right into a right uppercut, but just before that, Cook left himself wide open to the left hook. Oh, and there, Uusivirta goes for broke with the jackpot right. Missed by a mile, but there's a bit of a desperation look about that punch. Now Cook going to the body a little more as well. Cook, who turned down a chance of a WBA title shot against Barney Eastwood's Victor Cordoba to take this fight. Well, so far it seems to be paying off for him. But we're only in the middle chapters.
He is looking a little bit more desperate, Uusivirta. He's trying very hard with that big right hand. He's letting it go quite often, and it's missing by a bigger margin now.
Now back they go to the corners at the end of that 6th round, and on my scorecard I have Cook in a pretty handy lead at this stage. I've given him 5, in fact, of those first 6 rounds, with 1 of them even.
Cook's doing the best work. He's certainly doing the best work. But Uusivirta always looks dangerous, looks very, very strong. He seemed to, be weakening a little bit there, but he's still a very strong fighter, and Cook will have to be careful.
6th round action. Look at that. That was the left. That really did rock Cook's head back on his shoulders like a rag doll. He was wide open to that. Then that right, just to show that the man from Finland, he lives about 150 miles from Helsinki at a place called Jyväskylä, beside a lake. He is still, he still can be dangerous here. 7th round then. And on the line, the European Championship at 12 stone super middleweight. Blitz of punches from Cook at the start of the round. Oh, that right uppercut again. Surely Uusivirta can't take too much more of that kind of thing.
That was a very good start from Cook. Caught him with some very good shots.
Pulverizing punches from James Cook. And that right uppercut again. He's landing that with increasing regularity. And now he has Uusivirta on the ropes and looking a bit open, and the Finn wants to hold on, wants to have a minute to gain respite.
He's still there, Uusivirta. He's still there fighting all the way. Every time Cook hits him with a few good shots, he comes back very, very game, very strong. I'm not sure what he's doing now. It looks like he might quit.
He's gone to his corner. I think he's had enough. I think he's had enough. He has. And James Cook has retained the European Super Middleweight Championship. Well, what a strange ending that was. Uusivirta, one moment, looked game, strong, giving it everything. And the next second, he thought to himself, can't do it. Reality crowded in, and he didn't want to take any more punishment. And this fellow, James Cook, is still the European Super Middleweight Champion, and a world title opportunity with Mickey Duff now in the camp cannot be very far away, I would suggest.
It's got to be on the cards very soon. He's got to get that world title shot, and he deserves it. He did very well, kept himself together there against a very tough, very awkward opponent. And at times it didn't look as if Uusivirta was going to tire. He kept going, kept awkward, kept strong. But Cook kept to his job, kept hammering away, and he's got it, a well-earned victory.
7th round stoppage. And, well, for once, Glenn and I got it right beforehand. We thought Cook was going to win it. We said it'd be hard, and I think, without blowing our own trumpets too much, that's about what happened, really, wasn't it?
That's right. I'm very glad it has, because James Cook's a smashing fella, and he deserves the success and a lot more.
I think you and I ought to have a go at the football pools this Saturday, Glenn.
I think we will.
But what a good performance from James Cook that was. I must say I'm full of admiration for this man. I do love it in boxing when fighters who are just honest to goodness, down the bill fighters, they lose some, they win some, come good like this and start getting the rewards late in their career. This is the finish, Glenn. Talk us through it.
Well, he'd been getting some good shots on Uusivirta, and then all of a sudden he turns away, puts his hands up, and he's had enough. And it came right out the blue. He'd been having, for the last couple of rounds he hasn't had much success, but then he just snapped. Obviously he'd had enough.
I suppose there'll be those who'll say in the old boxing vernacular that Uusivirta bottled it in the end, but I wouldn't say that, would you?
Well, a fighter, whoever he is and however good he is, can only take so much. I mean, they're human beings. Uusivirta may be just too tough and have too good a chin for his own good, and he stood up to a lot of good shots, but mentally and physically you can only take so much, and that was as much as he could go, and he'd had enough.
I think actually he just took a sensible, pragmatic decision. And in the current climate in boxing, I don't think I'm going to knock him for that, really, because he decided, really, that there was no way he was going to win the fight. Cook was getting more and more on top. He was getting more and more tired. He was only going to take more punishment, wasn't he?
That's right. It's certainly, I mean, you just get a good feeling, and then, his good feeling was it's all over.
OK, we can get the official announcement, I think, at any moment now from the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, with Tarmo Uusivirta having retired in 58 seconds of the 7th round, our winner and still champion of Europe, James Cook.
So James Cook is still the winner now. We would have hoped in normal circumstances here to bring you an interview with the winner, but at the moment the British Boxing Board of Control, after recent events, have decided there will be no ring interviews with any boxers. So if we don't talk to James Cook for the moment, you'll understand just why that is. But that doesn't matter too much, does it? The bottom line here is that Cook is still the European champion, and one day soon, maybe we're calling him a world champion.
This is enough for me. I quit now. Thank you for all of you.
You heard him saying behind me, he says, I'm too old at 34. But while it lasted, Gary Mason, he did give a very good account of himself.
He came into the fight to the point where he looked as if he could very easily win the fight. But the age 34, that caught up with him. After rocking Cook countless times, round after round, but Cook showed the heart of a champion by staying there, hanging there with him, and what he did was break his heart.
Just hearing now, Uusivirta has in fact announced his retirement from the ring on that moment down there, Gary. But looking at Cook, it's all falling into place for him. This was a difficult fight, and he's gone up another little class, hasn't he?
When you become a champion, it really gives you that extra boost. And now Cook has beaten one of the men that have beaten him in the past. That's going to give him another boost. Cook is now ready for a world title fight because he's bubbling at the moment.
Let's analyse a little bit of what Cook is as a fighter, Gary. There's a couple of examples, I think, from round 3. Just talk us through how you see Cook as a fighter.
Well, Cook's the right uppercut, which is one of his specialities. He's very good with uppercuts and the hooks. As you said to me before, Paul, he fights very well on the inside, especially with somebody with long arms. Here we go now. Long jab, right uppercut, very good punch when delivered properly, and as Cook showed throughout the fight, he kept delivering that particular punch.
And in some ways that was actually Uusivirta's best round in the fight. But he came through the storm, Cook, and he's still on course for that, what he hopes is going to be a big payday.
Yes, that win for Cook would have done his heart the world of good. To beat somebody that's actually defeated you before and get them to submit is a very good win. Now Cook can go and look forward to fighting whoever next. You've got Chris Eubanks is one champion, and there's whoever other champions are, Cook will be looking for them.
Cordoba, with Barney Eastwood, the manager, the WBA champion. There was already one fight in the pipeline, but who knows, he might be on to get a better payday now.
Well, he's got Mickey Duff in his corner, and that's better than a good right hand, that is. He's guaranteed a shot.
OK, Gary, thanks very much indeed. More live boxing is going to come in just a minute or two. We're going to take a good first look at a very up-and-coming, good light middleweight prospect by the name of Dean Cooper from Bristol. We'll see you in just a second.